Would you believe it? I have finally made another video. And the reason why I haven't been has been basically three factors. Number one, I got behind in calculus over the school year, so I had to do it through the summer. Remember, I'm homeschooled. So that takes up a good chunk of my time, like the mornings. And then I also have to work, so that takes up about half of my evenings. And third factor, I've just been lazy. So if any one of those factors were eliminated, I would have been making more videos. Like if I didn't have to work in the evenings, then I would have had more time to build up motivation to actually do it. But hopefully now I can get rid of the lazy factor and get back into it. And this fall I will be starting college, but don't worry, it's a local college here in Great Falls, so I won't be leaving or anything. That won't happen for at least another year. So yeah, everything's good there. So the first thing I want to talk about is I had a birthday a little while ago, and actually I am 19 right now. Seriously. And for my birthday / graduation present, my family got me this new camera here. Oh, and I forgot to bring a mirror down. It's like a Casio something. And one nice thing is it takes video in HD. So if you have a fast enough connection, I don't, to watch videos in HD, feel free to click down there and bring it up. So, although one disadvantage with it is that it only takes 24 frames a second rather than the regular 30 frames. So in like high motion, you know, if you might be able to make out a very faint jerkiness. So it's not very good for fast motion. Like, for example, when I uploaded the underwater video, which was with this camera, I uploaded that in standard video because it had the full frame rate. Also, it chops off the top and the bottom to make widescreen, which is perfectly fine for YouTube videos, but for something like underwater, you want to get as much video in the picture. I actually tried HD, and it was kind of hard to see, but then when I uploaded it in full screen, it was so much nicer how much more video I could see on the top and bottom. And the nice thing about this camera is it records video onto an SD card. So all I gotta do now is stick the SD card in the computer, and I can just edit it and produce it from there. I don't have to copy it onto the computer or anything. So it's a lot more easier than dealing with my mini DV camcorder where you have to rewind it and then start capturing it onto the computer, let it play through, and then I can start editing it. So this will make it much easier to make videos. But this camera does not have a very good macro focus at all. So for detailed tutorials where I need to show close-ups, or where I need manual exposure or manual focus, I will be using this camera, this camcorder, because and this camera doesn't even have manual settings when recording video. So that's a little frustrating. So I haven't given up on this camcorder just yet. And another thing is that I do have two SD cards. Actually, I've got 5 SD cards now. I bought two 2 gigs just to use for myself in my family's cameras so that when I needed to use their cameras, I could just switch out the memory cards. And then when I got this camera, it came also with a 2 gig memory card. And then I knew that those would not be big enough for HD video. And so I got an 8 gig SD card, haha. But so far, I've been taking a lot of family videos with this camera. You know, I like this camera because it's so portable. You know, I can take this camera to work with me while I can't take that camera. I just like to take a camera wherever I go. So I have filled it up at least 8 times in the past 2 months or so. So I decided to also get a 16 gig memory card. So that's really fun. So I have plenty of space for recording YouTube videos. And about the 5 awesome cubers. So at the beginning of May, you know, I hadn't been making very many videos even then. So Chris contacted me and asked me if I was still interested in participating. And I told him it would be nice to continue doing it, but it would be even nicer not to have to live up to that commitment. So he let me drop out and he picked Ro Hessler instead. But he still said I could be a Saturday guest every now and then. And I do plan to upload my cubing parts of my status updates on that channel. So my status updates for this channel will be strictly related to this channel. Oh, and another thing is I am still selling cube pieces for the Rubik's 4x4 and 5x5. Oh, and by the way, the Rubik's company sometime in the spring came out with came out with a newer version of the Rubik's 4x4. It has the rails that the Rubik's 5x5 has, so So it fits together like this. I don't know how well you can see that. So it would be nice for me to get my hands on one so that I can make a tutorial, but just to let you know that my tutorial doesn't apply with it. So, and by the way, speaking of the Rubik's 5x5, the guy who was originally going to send me his 5x5 to make a tutorial on it, the whole thing fell through. So, I am still looking for a Rubik's 5x5 to make an adjustable Rubik's 5x5 tutorial. And it would be nice if I could actually get two. Then I could experiment on one of them, and then make the tutorial for another. So if you are interested in sending me a Rubik's 5x5, send me an email to memyself3.14@gmail.com. And please, don't ask me questions there. I have YouTube messages for a reason, and I check them within 3 days now. I should get better at that. But yes, if you have any questions, send me a YouTube message. Do not email it. I like for my email for business-related stuff only. And I am willing to pay the shipping for it as long as you live in the US. If you live internationally, then I'll pay $5 down, but that's it. So if you're interested in giving me Rubik's 5x5s, or actually buying these pieces, send me an email to memyself3.14@gmail.com. Or if you have any other proposition, go ahead and contact me. And I hope to also update my channel background. It's rather outdated. So, and another thing off-related from my channel is YouTube increased the video limit from 10 minutes to 15 minutes, which, well, it was actually like 11 minutes before, but now it's like, it'll probably be like 16 minutes. So that's kind of cool for you guys, although since I'm a YouTube partner, I don't have to worry about that. And I still have many ideas for tutorials. Like for one, I'll be showing how to use the shellac. I found it has turned out very nicely. It has chipped on my Chinaminx, but it's a lot better than chipping or peeling stickers. So I really like it much better. And I got chrome stickers from Cubesmith, so I will be using it on it because this stuff because these stickers scratch pretty easily. And I've waited so long, they've already gotten a bit beat up already. So yeah, I gotta make that tutorial. So, and I would like to make a shorter V-Cube tutorial, so if I ever end up modifying someone else's V-Cube 6, I will be making a new tutorial, working very hard on keeping it short. So, and there's two things that I intend to do differently. Number one is I haven't been too happy with how the dirt has turned out. Like, rather, these outer layers have been smooth, this inner layer has been stiff. Now, I counted on that the layers would eventually smooth out as it gets broken in. Now, admittedly, I haven't played with this much because it's a bit stiff. So, but even after 6 months of playing with it every now and then, it hasn't improved at all. So, now that I have... Oh, crap, it's not down here. Now that I have made my V-Cubes adjustable, however, my white V-Cube 6 has a proper tension now. So that one is a great speed cube now. So, unfortunately, it's a white cube, and I prefer black cubes because they look better. So, yeah. And another thing is, I think I figured out why people, including myself, had so much trouble with the pins. Is we've been clipping the pins after gluing them in. And I was just watching a soldering tutorial a while ago, and they said that if you clip the leads after soldering it, that could damage the solder connection thing. And the same thing probably applies with glue. So, since then I have modified several cubes, including my white and black one, since I, made them adjustable. And I clipped the pins before, which is very hard because then you have to figure out which size they are. And I had almost no trouble with the pins. I did have a little bit, some maybe were too short or too long. But, like, but those that were the adequate size stayed in perfectly. So in my new tutorial, I will be explaining how to do that, and I will be leaving out the part of the dirt modification. So, I still recommend it for the Chinaminx, because I actually just modified a Chinaminx not too long ago, and this one was much smoother, even though it had dirt. It's much stiffer than the one I modified, but it is much smoother. So, yeah. So I believe that's all I have to talk about right now, so if want to see my update about all my cubes and what I've been doing and such, be sure to check out the 5 Awesome Cubers channel. I'll get that video up, I'll edit them at the same time. And yeah, I believe that's it. So look out for those tutorials. Hopefully I can make them and get rid of that lazy factor. Goodbye.